My very first wholesale deal actually wasn't a house, it was a plot of land. This shows on how versatile wholesaling is and how many ways in real estate that you can make money. And in this video, I'm going to share the secrets that helped me close my first deal. My first step is to find a buyer who is interested in buying plots of land to build houses on. This person just so happened to be Jerry Norton, who is a flipping genius and a YouTuber, and provides a lot of values in his videos, so make sure you check him out. Once I find a buyer, I need to make sure that I understand their buy box. In this case, Jerry provided his criteria of what makes up a good deal, along with details of what to avoid. This information allowed me as the wholesaler to narrow my search, so I'm not wasting time on deals that Jerry wouldn't be interested in. Once I understood Jerry's buy box, I opened two separate windows of Zillow and placed them side by side. On one side, I had newly constructed and recently sold houses that I could use as comparables to figure out the ARV, or after repair value. On the other side, I was looking for lots for sale. And on both sides, I made the filters as narrow and specific as possible in respect to Jerry's buy box. And from the map, I was able to zoom out so I could still see the dots, but see a lot of activity over a broad area. I mainly want to focus on the newly constructed and recently sold homes. So what I did is I would slowly scroll through the map and look for areas with a lot of yellow dots. This shows that there's a lot of activity of new builds. Once I found a lot of yellow dots in one area, I would zoom in and see if these would match Jerry's buy box. If that area seemed to have a lot of good activity, I would then switch to the window that has lots for sale. There I would look for any lots for sale that would be perfect and meet Jerry's criteria. For this specific deal, I found this lot in Arizona. Once I found a lot for sale, I would then narrow my search on the newly constructed and recently sold homes. I used these houses as comparables to come up with an ARV, so when Jerry builds a house on this lot, he has a rough estimate of what it would sell for and what kind of profit he would make. To ensure my buyer was getting a good deal, I had to go out and get a builder's quote to figure out the construction cost per square feet. If the construction cost was too high, it would cause Jerry to lose money. This was probably one of the more difficult parts, trying to find a builder who would give me a quote. If this property is deemed profitable for Jerry and meets his buy box, the next step is to get in contact with the seller or their agent. I had sent a text message to the seller's agent to learn more about the property. Most importantly, if it's ready to be built on. Once I confirmed this lot met my buyer's standard, I placed in an offer. My first offer is a seller finance offer, which is what Jerry preferred. He was willing to do cash, but prefers to do creative finance. The offer was broken down as follows. A purchase price of $90,000 with a 20% down payment or $18,000 going directly to the seller at close. The remaining $72,000 is financed by the seller at 6% interest with a 3-year balloon. A 3-year balloon means at the end of 3 years, the buyer pays the seller the remaining balance of the principal. Once I submitted the offer with the agent, she had sent it to the seller. Luckily, the seller liked the terms of the offer, so we signed the purchase agreement and the agent submitted it into escrow. This gave me 48 hours to submit my earnest money deposit, which was $1,000, with the inspection period of 10 days. During the inspection period, I was going over the deal with Jerry, and he had felt that it would be a better deal for him if we had lowered the down payment to 10%. So I went back to the agent and renegotiated. Now the seller will be receiving $9,000 at closing and seller financing the remaining $81,000, still with 6% interest and a 3-year balloon. The seller came back being okay with the change of terms with only one caveat, that we got rid of the inspection period. I confirmed with my buyer that this was okay and we were able to move forward. What this would mean is in case of a deal cancellation, the seller would take my earnest money deposit. Once we finally got terms agreed on, we were waiting for closure to get this deal closed. Or so I thought. We had found out that I had made a mistake in the initial offer that I gave that doesn't fit Jerry's buy box. This is why it's so important to understand your buyer's buy box so that you don't make the same mistake and risk losing your earnest money deposit. I'll give more details about this mistake in future videos, so make sure you like and subscribe so you don't make the same mistake. Luckily, the seller was very motivated to sell his property, so we were able to go back to him and renegotiate to fit Jerry's buy box. This ended up not being a big deal, but it was super embarrassing for me, but of course with every deal comes learning experiences. Once everything was situated, it was just waiting until closure for everything to be completed. In most cases, as a wholesaler, you're going to want to sign that contract to the buyer and so that you can get paid from the title company. In this case, Jerry wanted to pay me a finder's fee, which I was okay with because I trust Jerry. But if you're working with a buyer you don't know very well, I would certainly assign the contract to the buyer so you get money from title and not from the buyer. At the close of this deal, I received a finder's fee from Jerry and his team for $8,700 plus my $1,000 escrow reimbursement. Overall, the deal had a lot of ups and downs, but so will every deal you go through. The important thing is that you learn from it and keep moving forward. If you want to make money wholesaling like I do, be sure to like and subscribe and comment what you want to learn more about.